we've talked a lot about camouflaging ourselves and our equipment, but sometimes we do want to stand out, namely to our friends, because in the fog of war, things get confusing on the battlefield, and you want to make sure you're not shooting your buddy, right? And this was easier back in the global war on terror, where everybody had night vision. All the friendly forces had night vision, the enemy didn't. So everyone wore IR flags, IR patches. We had IR strobes, IR chem lights, so you could light yourself up with as much IR light as you wanted, and everybody with night vision, all the good guys, would be able to see that this is friendly forces, and, you know, the more insurgent forces did not, so you could know to target them. But that doesn't really work anymore because the battlefield has been saturated with night vision and thermal equipment, so everybody has that capability now. And while it may be tempting to then just go the subdued route and, like, everything is just camouflage, you don't want to shoot your buddies. So there is kind of a return to having some brightly colored stuff. You may be interested in putting on full color patches. So if you turn the corner and suddenly there's a guy there in multicam, and everybody's wearing multicam now, even Russian forces are wearing multicam, you can see that big bright American flag on the chest or on the shoulder, and you can hold your fire and not shoot your buddy in the face. Or if you don't want to give away that you are American or whatever nationality you are, maybe you want to have some made up flag, something brightly colored. You can get all sorts of just, you know, different colored, solid color patches on Amazon, eBay, whatever, that are bright enough colored but don't necessarily communicate to the enemy what nation you hail from. But if you have a small team, you may get away with, like, okay, everybody with the purple flag patch, everybody with a purple dot on their chest, that is all friendly forces, don't shoot at those guys, right? And if you want to go to the extreme with it, as you see in the Ukraine war, people are just taping up their stuff with colored patches. Ukraine typically has blue and yellow duct tape just wrapped around everything from their arms, legs, shoulders, everything on their kit, so that it kind of even defeats the whole purpose of camouflage in general. However, with that said, if you're doing a lot of movement behind enemy lines, it may be worth having some tape on yourself just to do the admin movement so that everybody can see you from a distance and they're not just going to light you up, because not all of combat is just direct contact with the enemy. Sometimes you get off the line, you're doing stuff behind the scenes, and that may it may be worthwhile to be visible from vehicles, from aircraft, so that they're not just going to be lighting you up whenever they see it. But when you go into actual combat, you may want to take off the duct tape. And one more passive technique with this is VS-17 panel. These are aircraft signaling panels. You can buy these very cheap, military surplus. They're much bigger than this. This is one I've cut down. And of course, you're not going to just take this and just put it on your kit. That would be silly most of the time. But one thing you can do is you can take it and hang it from a tree nearby your position in the direction of friendly forces. Like if we've occupied this urban area over here and we know that the enemy's to our front and we've got friendlies coming up to our rear, we can hang this panel off of a tree or an oil drum somewhere back in our rear area so that they know when they're coming up. We can let them know via radio or runner or whatever, saying like, hey, when you come up here, you'll see the panel. You're coming up on our position, so watch your fire, right? Otherwise, they may be coming in not knowing, where the friendlies are, and still, even though they know you're ahead of you, they may get startled. So that VS-17 panel or whatever signaling device placed ahead of you, ahead of their position as they approach you, can just facilitate that exchange and that link up.